Now, on the main show, you revealed that you have a Just for Fans and that Melissa has an OnlyFans. Have you ever checked out her OnlyFans?
I haven't actually. She drops like little hints and pieces on her boy Twitter. So if you want to go check out her boy Twitter, you can see a few snippets. But I have not subscribed. Maybe I should.
Well, there's more ways you can support two of your favorite queens, and you can really look it down, ma. Very interesting, Lady Red. You had an OnlyFans for a minute.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, she did not do any adult performing on it.
No, it was called Titty Talk. I had a conversation with my titties out, and then that was it. And I guess that wasn't enough. People wanted to see a lot more. I was like, no, that's as far as I go.
Oh, I'd pay to see that.
Okay, here comes one of your good sis. Look at her.
Pinche.
Pinche.
Speaking of Titty Talk.
Titty talk.
Yeah, that's a titty talk right there.
So Pinche was actually she was the person who convinced me to do the Dragula pageant before Dragula was a show. And she had been trying to convince me for like a year to do it. And I refused to do it because I was just scared of competing. And she would tell me all the time, like, just do it, just go, whatever. Like, what's the worst? You don't get picked, you know? And finally, she convinced me to do it. I went and did the pageant. Fun fact, I don't think I've ever said this on camera. It's been so long, I think they'll be fine about it. The Boulets, so the way the show works when it was like at a club was 10 people walk the runway with their looks.
Right.
3 people are selected, and those 3 people compete through the challenges, right? So I went up, I did my whole runway moment. I really liked what I did. I was happy with it. I didn't get picked. I was really fucking mad because someone who did get picked, who I thought was very lackluster, it just like, it really pissed me off. So I left and cut to a year later when I won. I was having lunch with the Boulets, and they were like, do you remember that Dragula that you were at, like the night we met? I was like, yeah, what about it? They were like, we called the wrong name because the other girl's name also started with a V. They were like, you were meant to go up, and I was like, oh.
Wow.
And that's always stuck with me, but Pinche was the reason I met the Boulets, and had she not convinced me to go that night, I never would have met them because that was the last night they did Dragula as a nightclub show.
Right.
Before they took it away because they were going to do the TV show. So I almost missed my opportunity. So I can thank this bitch for that.
Thank you, Pinche. Those live Dragula pageants. Do you remember the one that we saw at the Austin Drag Fest?
Yes, baby.
It made me fall in love with drag again. Incredible. It was so good.
They're wild.
Okay, look at her.
Oh,
the
bitch.
queen who began the digital drag revolution.
In her JonBenet fashion.
I know, I love that look.
Oh, bitch.
Now, she was the season 2 winner.
Yeah.
Now, what was your, did you know her before she competed?
No, I mean, technically, yeah, but I met her the day she competed in the Dragula, the club pageant.
Oh, right.
So, I mean, at that point, she almost felt like a competitor because she won the thing and she was going to audition. So that was very much what our relationship was in the beginning. And I guess, yeah, I didn't really know her before the show.
What was it like watching someone else go through and win the pageant, like seeing it from a different perspective?
I think for me, it was very enjoyable because her story was so much more different than mine. Her story was so uniquely hers, and I think that made it very, very special. Same goes for Landon. Just the fact that he's a drag king made his story very, very special in its own way. The queens like tore bitch apart on her season. And not just while the cameras were rolling, when the cameras were off, they also tore her to pieces.
Wow.
So she really stepped up to the plate and she said, fuck you, I'm gonna win this shit. And she did, you know? So like for me, it was really fucking cool to see someone go on the show and be like, this sucks, but I'm gonna win this, you know? Like that's the kind of that like gives me life.
And you've been part of her digital drag show every single episode.
All 16.
Now, you know, they did the Digital Drag Fest and everyone else has the digital drag, but that was really one of the first ones that, you know, on Twitch, and now everybody's kind of followed suit from what she's doing.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's funny because Bitch for a long time had really wanted a show, and she started a show at Precinct, and the show was phenomenal. It was called Another Show. Great. Low attendance. So it didn't survive, you know, and it really sucks to see when like a really great night doesn't survive because of something like attendance.
Oh, we all know.
Yeah, we all know, we've been there. So I kind of felt like it was a long time coming for Bitch. Like she's always wanted a show, and she may have had some flub, despite how good her shows were, there were some flubs, and then she hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Like she really hit the jackpot with digital drag.
Well, and she'll be on Hey Queen coming up later this season. All right, another Dragula winner. Look at her.
Look at him.
Look at him.
Look at him. Oh my God. Landon is so fucking hot in drags. Like Landon could get it.
Yeah.
Landon's hot as in drags.
Now, you said that he had the Wolfman
Oh
look.
my God.
That got your
Wolfman
panties
look.
wet.
Yeah, just like soaked panties. I remember I was on the mezzanine level of the Globe Theater watching the runways, which I would do most days because, you know, once I built the set, there wasn't as much for me to do. So I was just chilling watching. And Ian, the Boulet brothers' assistant, was standing next to me. And Landon walked out, and we both like turned to look at each other, and like, I think we just saw the lust in each other's eyes. Landon looked f***ing hot.
What do you think is important about a drag king winning Dragula? I mean, that's one of the things that's so great about Dragula,
God, yeah.
is that, you know, you have all the different varieties of drag and genders and all the rest that are happening in the drag scene in real life, but we don't necessarily see on Drag Race.
One of the things that's frustrated me a lot about drag on television or drag as entertainment for a wider audience, and especially with Drag Race, is that it has kind of reinstated a lot of really tired ass ideas about what drag is or can be. And it's really unfortunate that the most famous show actually puts a lot of limits on what kind of people can even be, you know, eligible for casting and that sort of thing. And that show is now the point of reference for the majority of the world.
Right.
It just kind of sucks, you know? So part of what makes me love working on Dragula so much is that with every season, there's a wider, more diverse cast. You know, shows like Camp Wanakiki, even Drag Race Thailand had trans women on it. And I think it's really important that these shows really uplift and showcase talented drag artistry, not necessarily talented drag queens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, a drag queen can be any gender or any sex.
That's
Just
right.
like when we say look at her,
Right.
there could be a man or a woman or something else.
Okay. Could
That's
be a
right.
Dog or a frog or no?
Oh
I'm
my
just
God,
kidding.
yeah.
Girl, RuPaul's Frog Race coming soon.
RuPaul's
It's
Frog
tremendous.
Race. Who has the warts?
God.
May the best red bit win. Any last thoughts on Landon Cider?
You know, Landon is like a king's king from head to toe, impeccable, and just like a great human being. Just like straight up, just like a really solid ass human being.
Love it. Okay, and last but not least, don't be scared. Look at them.
Oh, the night I met the Boulets. So I actually, funny enough, I didn't meet them the night of Dragula, but that was the first time they got to see me like on a stage.
Right.
But I had gone to Queen Kong, my first time that I ever went to Precinct, I went to Queen Kong. And do you know Squeaky Blonde?
Yeah.
Squeaks, okay, so Squeaks was like, and I was in drags, and she was like, I need to introduce you to the Boulets. Just come with me, blah, blah, blah. She took me, she introduced me. She was like, oh, this is Vander, like, doesn't she look great? And Swan was like, she looks cute. Boop. And in my mind, I was like, oh, she hates me. She fucking hates me. And we chatted very briefly, and I was trying to get booked at that time, so I was going out in drags and going to shows. And I was like, oh, you know, if you ever, you know, you're a performer, you do this and that. And she was like, oh yeah, usually we reach out to people, we'll let you know. And I was like, she hates me. And lo and behold, like how things change. I mean, yeah, it's crazy to think back on when I first met them to where we are now.
What's something about them we might not know?
So what's something about them you might not know? You know, you kind of see this on the show, but a lot of people see their socials or they see the intros to the show or things like that when they're like performing as Drac and Swan. And they are sort of these like grandeur, like mega villain bitches.
Yeah.
But in the judging and when they're speaking, you can see them like crack jokes and laugh and things like that. And I wish more people could see that side of them. I'm pretty sure they probably don't want other people to see that side of them, but I kind of wish more people saw that side of them because they're actually really, really great human beings. I'm not going to say I've agreed with every decision or agreed with every point of view or thing that they've said, but they are very receptive. And in a sense, they kind of remind me of my parents. My parents are also people who are very receptive. They're people who will listen to the voices around them and take that in and grow. And I even from season 1 to season 3, I've seen the Boulets grow exponentially. There were I remember a couple of judgments towards me about certain looks or things like that I disagreed with, and they're things that I can't imagine they would ever say now on the show, so.
Well, so much more exciting stuff to come when Dragula returns for another season. Woo! You're working on it, Vander.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're always happy to have such a talented, imaginative queen, and we can't wait to see what else you're going to do.
Thank you so much.
Lady Red, baby, you had fun.
Yes, I am done like a potato.
All right. Well, before Lady Red gets baked like a potato, let's go. Thank you, Vander. Thank you, Lady Red. And thanks all of you for watching. We'll see you next time on Hey Qween, and look at her. Hit it.
Look at her.
Look at her. Oh, yes, Lady Red and the super monster. She is the super monster, Vander Von Odd. Look at her. Bye, baby. Bye. Camera, get out. Go on. You're exterminated.
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
Hello, children. Click here. Click here. And subscribe. You're welcome.